Hi guys, this tutorial is really an extension of my previous tutorial on how to make cinematic text in DaVinci Fusion. So if you haven't watched that tutorial, then it's probably a good idea that you do. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to mask your 3D text, but more importantly, I'm going to show you how you can mix textures on the same object. We're also going to be creating text from particles. If you want to follow along, you can download these projects from my website for completely free of charge. Let's get into it. So here we are inside of DaVinci Fusion. The first thing we need to do is delete the cinematic haze. We're going to add an effect at the end to deal with that. Next thing we need to do is the camera. We're actually going to change that. So let's delete the camera out as well. We're going to bring in another camera. And we're going to connect that in. Let's put that in the left-hand view by clicking this dot and make sure we've got two windows open up like that. We need to go to top view, so right click here and then just pull the camera out, grab that blue line and just pull it out until you've got it where you want it to be, somewhere like that. And if I zoom out, control middle mouse on the right hand side, we can see that our text is quite high, so go to this one again, go to front view, and then what we're going to do is lower the camera down somewhere like that. If you need to, use the control key to do that. Then let's go back to the top view, and I'm just going to hold the control key and nudge it in a little bit like that. There we are. So now we've got our text just coming up like so. Right, now what we need to do is go over to our text. Now we've got our video, Sky video, going into our text directly. We need to change that up, so I'm going to disconnect it like that. I'm going to move the text up a fraction. With that selected, I'm going to hit Shift Space Bar, and we're looking for something called a Replace Material, which is that one just there. We're going to add that. Then what we're going to do is click on our sky and hit Shift Space Bar again, and we're looking for something called a Matte Control, which is that one there. Add that. Now if I take the output of the Matte Control and connect it into our Replace Material, if you look in the top window, what you'll see is it brings back our texture. Right, now what we need to do is somehow fade in our video. We're going to do that using a 2D mask, and there are some things you need to be aware of. So what I'm going to do is grab our rectangle tool like that, bring it in like that. I'm going to connect that across, and the first thing you'll notice is it comes in as a mask. And in the 2D world that's okay, but here we need it to come in as a foreground or a background. So what I'm going to do is, holding the output, I'm going to hold the Alt key, bring it across to the Matte Control, let go, and then make sure it's a foreground like that. Now, clicking on the Matte Control, we need to come up to the right hand side, and under Combine, we need to change that to Combine Alpha. Then what we need to do is under Garbage Matte, we need to make sure it's Post Multiply Image like so. And we can see in our window, it's starting to have the effect, or starting to have an effect. So click on the rectangle tool now. We're going to come across to the right hand side, and next to solid, there's one called invert. We're going to click on that, and look at that, we've got a mask. If I move that around, we can hide our text as needs be. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the height up, and then I'm going to take the width up like that. If I move that across, what you'll see is that E or B is coming in. I can't quite get it right. So what you need to do is come to the width just here and change that to say 1.2 like so. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to drag that out. We're going to choose a point where we want the text to come in. So we'll start it at say frame 20 right there. So I'm going to bring our center all the way across like that, and then hit here to create a keyframe. Now we need to decide how quick we want our animation to go across. So if it's 3 seconds, we'll take it to about say frame 120. No, 110. Let's make it 110 like that. Then what we'll do is go to our center X and Y on the right hand side and just drag the X all the way across like that. Now when I play that back, we get this. And the first thing you'll notice is when it comes across, the edge on the mask is actually quite harsh. So let's fix that. Here's our rectangle mask here. I'm going to put it in the left-hand view like that, and we can see that it's quite a harsh mask there. What you need to do is come up to the right-hand side and increase the soft edge, and look at that, we get a bit of a better fade in like that. So let's check that out and play that back and see what that looks like. Very cool. Right, so we now need to make our fiery texture. What we're going to do, we're going to do a little bit of a cheat. We're going to select all these nodes here, right click and hit group like that. Now what I'm going to do is right click on this node, come up and hit copy, blank area, Control V, take the output from that, and we're going to put it into that merge like that. Open the group up. We no longer need the sky video, so I'm going to delete that out. I'm going to bring in a background node for our color. Take the output from that, put it in like that. Come across to the right hand side and change the color from black to like an orangey, somewhere around there will do. And then we're going to add some noise to it, so I'm going to bring in a fast noise like this. Let's put the fast noise in the window. First thing I'm going to do on the fast noise is increase the contrast and increase the scale a little bit like that. I'm also going to animate it, and how you do that is if I click on the arrow, go right to the first frame, I'm going to click a keyframe on the center X and Y. I'm going to go to the last frame by clicking here, and then I'm going to move that all the way off screen like that, so we've got some motion. Now let's see what that looks like. And as you can see, we can see our fast noise going through the text, but we do need to edit that mask, so let's go back in there and do that. So here's our mask. Got our start frame at frame 20, end frame at 200, so I'm going to go here, click that so we're right at the beginning. I'm going to take the width all the way down, somewhere like that. Let's just zoom in. And it's doing the reverse of what we need it to do. I need it to be like that. So how I did that, go across to the right hand side, just here where it says invert, turn that off. Then what we're going to do is we are going to move that all the way so it's right off screen. So it's not affecting our text. So here's our text. I want it right off screen like that. And it'll update the keyframe just here. So if I now click to the end point, you'll see it's gone right off. It's gone a bit too far there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our center X and Y, pull it right back in, and then just let it come off about there. Let's play that back and see how that looks. Very cool. Now all we need to do is add some glow to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this merge just here, shift space bar, looking for a soft glow, which is that one there. Let's add that. I'm going to take the gain up to 4.48 or 4.5 like that. And the problem we now have is that all the text is selected. So what we can do, we've got two options there. We can copy the mask across. In fact, let's do that. So I'm going to open this one up here. Take this mask here, right click, hit copy. Come down here, blank area, right click, paste. And then we can connect that in. And then what you'll see is it's only glowing on the areas that are in orange like that. We've got one final thing to do, guys, and that's to add our particle system. What I'm going to do is bring in a particle emitter, a particle directional force, and a particle renderer, and then connect those all together. Get the output of the particle renderer and connect it into this soft glow, and it'll automatically create a merge for us. Now if I click on the particle emitter, it's in the center of the screen. It's currently a sphere. I don't know if you can see that, but we've got some really small particles coming out of that. So what I'm going to do is go across to the region tab just here. I'm going to change it from sphere to line. Then I'm going to go to the style tab and change it from point to blob like that. On the size, go down under size control, change it to 0.7. And then what you can do is change the size variation as well. And that'll just make it a little bit more organic. Now if I play that, what you'll see is the particles are going straight down, hard to see. But what we need to do is click on the particle directional force just here. Go up to the right hand side. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. What we can see is that the particles are going straight down here. If I change this direction, like so, you can see now that the particles are going out to the right hand side. Now click on the particle emitter, and we've actually got two handles there. I don't know if you can see that. We've got one handle here and one handle there. What we're going to do is go to frame 30. We're going to move that handle just slightly in front of the fade in, about there like that. Then we're going to come across to the region tab, and then we're going to click a keyframe on all these points just here. Then what you need to do is you need to go in here and go every 20-30 frames. I'm going to go to frame 50 now, and just make sure that these points are slightly ahead of the fade in. You need to do this all the way across the timeline, so I'm going to speed this part up. So there we are. Let's play that back and have a look at it. Looking pretty good. We've got a couple of problems. One is the particles don't look very organic, so let's fix that. So clicking on the particle emitter, I'm going to come across to the controls tab here and see under temporal distribution, we're going to change that to randomly distributed. That looks a little bit better. The other thing that we can do is just going to separate these out. Click on this particle directional force, shift spacebar. We're after something called a P turbulence, which is this one just here. We're going to add that. Clicking on the P turbulence, come over to the right hand side and just play with the X and Y strengths, and it will just add some noise into that, so that when I play that back, that's looking far better. Right, if we go to the beginning of the animation of the particles, they start here and they don't fade in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to frame 20, click on the particle emitter, we're going to drag it across a little bit. We're going to go to make sure you're on the control panel here. We're going to click a keyframe on the number. We're going to change that value to 0. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through, say, up to frame 30 just here. I'm going to change that number back up to 150 like that. Then what will happen is our particles will fade in like that, which looks pretty cool. The only other problem that we've got is if we go to between the G and the movie, so the two words just there, is the particles continue to spawn in that blank space, so we can fix that as well. Same thing again, we're going to click on the particle emitter, come across here, click a keyframe, go forward say a couple of frames like that, and take that value down to 0. And using the arrow key again, go forward till it starts to come back in, about there, and we'll take that value back up to 150, a little more organic. And then we're going to do the same for the end. So when it gets to the end, so it should start fading out here. On frame 190, I'm going to click a keyframe, I'm going to go forward, say 5 frames, I'm going to take that value down to 0. So we've got a bit more of an organic look happening. Very cool. The other thing I don't like is I don't like the colors. Now in the original one, I just had them as a black or a dark gray, but I'm going to show you how you can change the color. So clicking on the particle emitter, we're going to come across to the style tab just here. If we go to color controls, if you just want that one color, you can do this, just go to this color control just here. And as you can see, it's just one color going across. You can actually do a little trick making it a bit fiery, and that is if we go down to color life over controls just here, I'm going to click on this first one. I'm going to make that an orange. Go across a little bit, make it a red. A bit more, make it a yellow. And I'm going to do a white. And what we'll do is we'll go back to orange. And then on this final one here, I'm going to make it a darker orange, like there, and then I'm going to drag the alpha all the way down like that. Now when we play that back, we get this. Now one thing you can do is in the particle renderer just here, if we click on that, you can actually add a little bit of blur to the particles. I'm using the control key while I'm doing this, and you can also add some glow as well if you want to. Let's see how that looks. Looking good. I think I want to see some more glow, so let's just take this glow here and put it the other side, see if that affects it. So the final thing I'm going to do is add a raise node. So I'm going to click on that soft low, shift space bar, and we're looking for light raise, which is this one here. Now the way this node works is, see this star up here, if I move that up and down by using this one here on the right, we can control where the rays are coming in and out. So what we'll do is I'll go to frame 0, make it at the top of the page like that, create a keyframe by clicking here, go forward say 100 frames, and then bring that all the way down like that. Automatically creates a keyframe. Go forward 50 frames, so 150. Then what we can do is we can actually move it across in the X value. We'll go that way actually, because then that looks pretty good. And then go to frame 200, and then we'll bring it back up and across like that. Looking very, very good. Don't like the length of the ray, so let's go to about here. If you want to change those values, you can come across, change the length here. Also change the softness and the actual brightness as well. I want to give it a bit more brightness and a bit more saturation like that. Right, let's have a look at that. So playing that back, I think it needs a bit more of a glow on the text as well as on the particles. So let's go in and fix that. What I'm going to do is click on the particle renderer, hit shift space bar, and I'm looking for a glow node, so let's add that. Let's go forward to a frame where our particles are in, and let's just crank up the glow and see what that does. Yeah, like that. I'm also going to bring in another glow just here, so shift space bar. We've just added a glow, so we'll do that again. What you can do is take this mask from this glow straight into that one so it doesn't blow out completely. Let's have a look at that. So a quick note from future me, if you're finding those particles a bit too powerful, one of the things you can do is go to this merge just here, and if you take the blend mode down, you can see here you can just lower the value. Another thing you can do is if you click on this merge, you can right click and hit swap inputs, and that puts the particles behind the objects. You can actually do both. You can also play with the blend then. Anyway, back to me. So that looks pretty cool to me. I'll leave these project files on my website. You can download them for absolutely free of charge. You will need to hit subscribe. You will need to also put your email address in on the website, but don't worry, I hate spam, so I won't be spamming you. If you've got any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. I love reading them, and I will see you in the next one.